Quazi here. Have you ever noticed how certain symbols keep appearing across different civilizations, eras, and even in nature itself? The flower of life is one of these symbols. A geometric pattern composed of overlapping circles that has been revered for thousands of years. What makes the flower of life so intriguing is its connection to both ancient wisdom and modern science. Mathematicians and scientists have discovered that the flower of life embodies the fundamental principles of sacred geometry, structures that form the basis of everything in the universe, from atoms to galaxies. Now, this pattern is a visual representation of the interconnectedness of all life, and it's even been shown to correlate with the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio, both of which are found throughout nature in everything from the spirals of seashells to the branching of trees. In today's video, we're going to explore the nature of sacred geometries, how our own bodies and minds themselves have a particular geometry, a map that reveals the underlying structure of reality itself. Once your internal geometry has been set correctly, you become one with the version of reality that you would like to experience. And that quantum event has no choice but to become manifest. I'm super excited to share this with you. Let's get started. So recently I was reading a great book on this that was revealing more knowledge on the flower of life. The book is called The Ancient Secrets of the Flower of Life by an author called Johir Melchizedek. I'm probably mispronouncing this name grossly, so if I do, I apologize, but you can look this book up. And in this book, he talks about 3 different sacred geometries: the flower of life, the seed of life, and the tree of life, and how throughout different cultures, these 3 symbols keep popping up. And what's even more curious is if you start to superimpose these 3 shapes on top of each other, they fit perfectly like a key. And what he goes on to talk about is the Egyptians and the wheels that you see in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, and how there are these godlike figures called netis who make 90-degree sharp turns to travel between different dimensions, interdimensionary travel. I haven't completely finished the book yet, but this reminded me of my very first yoga teacher who, when he was teaching me yoga, I was like, oh, okay, when am I going to get result? What's the result? He said, forget about the result. Prepare your body, because your body is like an antenna. When it's ready to receive the divine, when it's prepared, the divine will visit. But if it's not prepared, there is no potential for it to happen. So this also reminded me of learning about the mind and the brain. If you open up the brain, you won't find memories. Okay, it just doesn't happen like that. Just like if you open up a TV, you won't find the channels. This goes to show that perhaps a television-like quality, our brain actually stores the location of the memory in an infinite all space, okay? This is known as the all space. You can't remember and store everything here, but you can store the location where it's located here. Now, this all space is kind of like this Akashic space where if you assume a certain kind of alignment, a certain geometry in your mind and body, you're able to tap into a certain sector of a parallel reality. So to learn sacred geometries and how to use it to create the life that we want, the very first thing we have to understand is the concept of this all space, okay? This all space is the space within which all possible combinations of realities, parallel realities, is contained. Now, the very reason you are experiencing this current reality is dictated by 2 main things: the alignment, the geometry you have in your heart and mind. What do I mean by that? When you have a certain alignment in heart and mind, in thought and feeling, you resonate with a certain sector of this alternative space. Meaning a certain reality is getting lighted up. It gets lit up, okay? When it gets lit up for a long enough period of time, it manifests into physical reality. So if I keep thinking thoughts of, oh no, I just lost my job and now I'm going to be broke and I'm doomed, and I feel the feelings of fear, uncertainty, anxiousness, and I keep feeding those feelings. Every time I think about money, I become immediately more and more scarce, hold on to it, I'm scared, I'm afraid. Then that is the particular sector of reality I will be in alignment with. Do you understand? If I keep talking about how no relationship ever works out for me because I am this way, or there are just no good men out there or good women out there, then that's exactly the kind of reality I will be making a shift to. I'm illuminating that particular sector of reality. Okay? When I do this, the likelihood that I experience that quantum event, that quantum event manifests, becomes more and more real. The issue is when people try to, when they learn about this stuff and they try to make a conscious shift to a reality they would like to experience, they're always lagging behind in emotional, that feeling in their heart. So intellectually they think, okay, well, I just got laid off my job. I would like to make money. Maybe it's time to start a business. Yes, I'm going to go and start a business. And then they think about a million different businesses they want to start. They think immediately, how do I get there? What business do I do? What will make me the kind of money, the 20K, 30K a month that I want to make, that'll give me freedom for the rest of my life? But emotionally, they're still fearing going back to a job, or they're fearing, not making money and being in scarcity. Like, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this business doesn't work out? What if it doesn't succeed? So emotionally, they're always stuck to what they don't want. So this creates an incongruence, what's the word I'm looking for? A disharmony, a misharmony. There's a lack of harmony happening. There's a lack of congruence happening. Therefore, you get pulled in two different directions. One part of you moves forward towards the business you want to make. The other part of you is conflicted. And it almost seems like you're fighting against an invisible force. If you feel like every single day you're fighting against something, it's because you have the gas on and the brakes on at the same time, which is making you tap into multiple conflicting sectors of reality, and none of it's manifesting. The thing that you want isn't happening, or it feels like it's such a battle because you're not emotionally congruent to it. Most people are intellectually very, very clear. Like, you can see the numbers, you can do the math, and you can see how you'd get to 20, 30K a month, maybe. But emotionally, something is blocking you. Something is preventing you from achieving this. The key thing to do here is actually quite counterintuitive. It's to begin with the heart first, and then the mind will follow. What I mean by this is exactly what I did in my journey to starting this channel, making videos on YouTube. And this was my goal to financial freedom. So initially I was at a job that I hated, and I was like, what am I going to spend the next 40 years of my life in this corporate job that I absolutely hate? No, well, what do I want instead? I want financial freedom. I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, with who I want to do it with. I want to have freedom over my time. And I want to be making 20K a month doing that. And at first, when I conceived of that, I couldn't believe it. I didn't think it was possible. It was a pipe dream. But I started to follow my heart, like intuitively what feels like the right thing to do. I see my friends doing YouTube. I'm just going to start a YouTube channel and start making videos. It feels like the right thing to do for me. I feel like I could share my message and I would be passionate about it. So I started that, but I had no idea how to monetize it. And then as I kept making YouTube videos and I just kept taking action and growing this channel, doing what I did know, a lady reached out to me for coaching, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't know I could do that. For all I knew, I would be selling merch and doing something that I didn't want to do. But when they reached out to me for coaching, I was like, oh crap, I didn't know I could do this. I actually really resonate with coaching. I didn't know people would pay for this. And then I started offering coaching services, which took me from that to making my first 20K month, doing over $1 million a year, doing beyond my wildest dreams. I'm able to do what I want every single day and make more money than I ever thought would be possible doing it, right? And that's only possible for you to achieve what you want and beyond what you want is only possible when you go heart first, then mind. For me, when I started the YouTube channel, it made no logical sense to me. Like, what the fuck? Who's going to watch my videos? Who's going to watch a 20-year-old who's barely gotten out of college make videos? Who's going to listen to him? What does he know about life? Right? I had all of this imposter syndrome, but I suspended all of those and I just worked on sharing what I did know and being grateful for what I did have. You see that? When you focus more on what you want and what you have, you get more of that. Most people focus on what they don't want and what they don't have, so therefore they attract more and more of that. They tap into that sector of reality where they create more and more of that. Okay, so the key is to begin with your heart first and then your mind. When you go heart first and mind next, what happens is most people are trying to believe first. They're working on beliefs, right? But what brings beliefs about? What brings beliefs about is faith. What is faith? Faith is trust in the unknown and the unseen. You are creating something in your life that hasn't been created before. Right? Therefore, you have to conceive of it in here, internally, in your inner world, for it to be manifested in your outer world. Belief is trust in the known and the seen. If I've done something 1,000 times before, I can believe that I can do it again. But what about the first time you do it? The very first time you do it, what are you operating on? You don't have belief. Faith. You operate on faith. The very first video I made, I don't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if my friends were going to make fun of me, if my family was going to disown me, if anything was going to happen. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just go ahead and do it anyways, because otherwise I would regret it for the rest of my life for not being courageous enough to take that one step. Just one step at a time. What is the next step you can take that you don't know if it's going to work out? Those are, by the way, the best. When you don't know what's going to happen, but you have faith that something's going to work out, something's going to happen. Even if it's not this, it's going to be something else. And guess what? According to your faith, be it unto you. And as Jesus Christ says, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. One of my clients, Ricardo, recently used this and went from barely being able to conceive of making 5K a month in his real estate business to now being on track to add 20 to 30K a month in recurring revenue in his business. How do you go from that? How do you go from just not being able to conceive making 5K a month from your business to adding 20 to 30K a month in extra? Faith. It always begins with faith, okay? So all you need to do is anytime you're stuck at a crossroads, you don't know what to do. Heart first, mind next. What feels like the right thing to do, even though it's very, very uncertain, even though I don't know what's going to happen? Double down on that. By the way, I want to announce you can access my exclusive email list where I can share private thoughts every single week that I can't really share on the channel because of the platform's limitations. The link for that is going to be in the pinned comments, or you can click a little eye up here. It's going to take you to this page where you can also get access to exclusive bootcamp and stuff really that I can't share on the channel because I can do a lot of things on email, add links and stuff. And if you would like to keep in touch and really know what I'm thinking about, what I'm researching and what's going on, you can just put your name and your email address and access our email list. The final thing I wanted to talk about that complements this, tapping into a particular sector of the oil space, is learning to expand your zone of comfort, expanding your comfort zone. Now, why is this important? Why can't you just be comfortable and manifest what you want in your life? I want you to take a moment to think about this. The reason why you can't be comfortable and manifest what you want in your life is because if you want your life to change, you have to change the things in your life. Okay, I heard Kevin Trudeau actually talk about this in Your Wish is Your Command. There's a Spotify book on it. It's really good. He says, the things in your life won't change unless you change things in your life. And that means not just the actions you take, but the way you think. The way you think, what you feel. If you have been taking the same route to work every single day, you're going to keep experiencing a similar reality. If you've been thinking the same thoughts every single day about how society is not fair and how you're a victim and how you're not confident enough, how you're not good enough to do it and how other people are, oh, it's not for me. If you keep thinking those same thoughts again and again, then you'll keep experiencing the same reality again and again. So this is why it's so important to shake things up. Okay, life operates within a perfect balance of order and chaos. If you always have order, then the chaos that you experience is going to be something that you don't like. There's going to be something, because life is always trying to wake you up to its deeper truths. Like, wake up. There's something deeper than this. If you've been experiencing a miserable existence, going to a same job, it's boring, your life energy has run out, you just don't feel passionate about anything anymore, you just don't want to do anything anymore. You just want to curl up in a ball and watch TV or whatever it is. It's typically because you're not excited about anything. You have nothing in your life to look forward to. And that's because you've been going through the same Groundhog Day, same mundane routine, and you haven't taken a risk. You're too afraid to take a leap into the unknown. And this is where expanding your comfort zone comes in. I know this because I've been there. It's very easy for me to get comfortable doing one thing again and again and again. But then when I reinvigorate myself and I find emotional clarity on what excites me, getting clearer and clearer, understanding yourself, that's where true growth actually happens. That's where you can have these exponential leaps in your life. And all these people that you see making these income gains, it's because they constantly reinvent themselves. They become this 1.0 version to 2.0 to 3.0 to 4.0. They're constantly evolving who they are being. It is time for you to consciously evolve yourself into your ideal chosen version. And there's going to be lots of iterations of it. Like for people, a lot of people, when they say they have kids, they start to make a lot more money. They're like, oh, I don't know what happened. I had a lot more drive. My life completely changed when I had my first kid. Why? Chaos. You have a lot more chaos. Your routine changes. It's gonna change. You're forced to change, right? So instead of waiting for some accidental thing to happen, why don't you consciously make a change and expand your comfort zone? So in order to expand the comfort zone, we have to understand the 3 paradigms of existence. So we have the being, which is the highest level of existence. We have the doing, which is where most people, just like myself, used to be stuck. And the having, also people like myself used to be stuck, focused on what I can take. When you are at the having paradigm, you're solely focused on taking, having, what can I have? Money, cars, houses, freedom, etc. You go a level above that, you're like, what can I do in order to have? What can I do? Let's go and take action. Do, take action. The more action I take, the more I can get. And the highest paradigm of existence is being. Who can I be? Because everything that I experience in my life is an expression of my being. If I am the kind of person who is genuinely excited to work on my business, then the doing will follow naturally, right? And that's why I don't believe in hard work, because hard work implies you are fighting against yourself. What if the thing that you were doing was like a game? You were having so much fun. The hard work doesn't even feel like hard work. For example, let's say you love playing golf, right? You're obsessed with playing golf and you have so much fun doing it. You have so much fun doing it that your back hurts, your legs hurt, your knees are broken, but you just want to keep golfing. You're sweating. It's 110 degrees out, but you just want to keep swinging again and again and again and again and again. What's happening there? You're obsessed. You're obsessed. You have a problem. Like, you love it so much. It doesn't even feel like hard work. And you want to go to bed, wake up next day and do it again and again. What if you could feel that way about your business? What if you could feel that way about your life? Chances are the reason why you don't feel that way is because you're not at this being paradigm. You're not choosing who you want to be. You have become this version of yourself, which is a bundle of unconscious thoughts and beliefs and feelings and things that you've been taught to experience. And so that's why you have all of these conflicts with yourself. Because on one hand, you would love to experience abundance, but on the other hand, you have stated to yourself, oh, but don't I need to work hard? Because my parents told me and my society told me, and don't I need to, suffer and struggle to be successful? Don't I need to, feel bad and guilty for not giving to others? And don't I need to do this? Don't I need to do that? You have all of these misconceptions instead of just taking life as it is. What if you could say, you know what, to hell with everything. I want to be rich because I want to be rich. End of. I just want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. I want to experience what I want. And there was no judgment behind it. You didn't put the gas or the brakes at every single turn. So, in order to expand your comfort zone, stop trying to have something different. Stop focusing on doing something different. Focus on being someone that is more closely tied to who you truly are, your true self. And that requires a change. Because who you are currently, if you're not experiencing what you want, it's not who you are meant to be. Who you are currently has been formed unconsciously. You didn't choose this version of you. Within you, deep down, there's a true version of you that is trying, that is screaming. They're saying, please let me out. I don't care about all of these judgments and what people think of me. I just want to be a kid and play. Do you remember when you were a kid? When you just didn't give a fuck what anyone said? You just did what you wanted to do. That kid wants to come out. Because you're not being who you were meant to be, or who you truly are, you can't do the things that will bring you more and more fulfillment. And therefore, you're not having what you want. You will know that you're being who you're meant to be because it's not energetically draining to be this version of you. If I'm faking someone and I'm playing a character, it actually expends a lot of energy. If I'm trying to be someone I'm not, to my mother, to my colleagues, to my team, or to, when I'm making these YouTube videos, and, I'm a culprit to that. I try to take on this persona because I want to look more professional, look sharper, etc. That's not all the time who I naturally reside as. Right? So it drains a lot of my energy. And I know that if I come out of an interaction and I feel drained, it's because I have persona fatigue. This is what's known as persona fatigue. You're trying to be someone who you're not. You're trying to hold yourself back, restrain yourself. Oh no, I can't say a fucking curse word because someone's gonna comment and be like, you need to expand your vocabulary, blah, blah, blah. Right? So you're always holding yourself back. Why are you holding yourself back? What if you didn't have to hold yourself back? What if you could be who you were truly meant to be. You would experience what you wanted to experience. And this is where expanding your comfort zone comes in. The whole journey of life is getting back to who you were meant to be. And that's why you see old people, they don't give a fuck. They don't care. They've realized. They realize that it doesn't matter. They've lived their whole lives getting to this point, trying to impersonate, trying to be someone, trying to achieve, trying to fight, trying to prove something. They just don't care anymore. They just don't give a shit. You know? What if you could get there now? How fulfilling do you think your life would be? And I can guarantee you, if you were to get there now, then you would be doing the things that were naturally you were meant to do. And you would be having the things that you were meant to have beyond your wildest dreams. Now you might be thinking, oh, I need to be someone I'm not. I'm a lazy person. No. If you loved something and you just couldn't wait to do it, you wouldn't be lazy. With the example of playing golf, like if I loved and I was obsessed with it, that's all I would want to do. I wouldn't be lazy about it. I would just do it because it's so much fun. What else would I do? What else would I do with my life? That's the key. So what I want to leave you off with, the real secret to expanding your comfort zone is to learn to be comfortable in the unknown. That's what faith is, remember? Trust in the unknown and the unseen. Comfort in unknown. So, for example, let's say you're presented with an opportunity, you don't know what's going to happen. Maybe you have to invest some of your money.Maybe it's a coaching program, or maybe it's a real estate investing opportunity, and you just don't trust it, right? You're like, I don't know. Your mind steps in. It's like, don't do it, you idiot. You saved all this money. Don't do it. Don't spend it. And there's a great story in Florence Scovel Shin's book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, how a woman won $5,000 and she was so scarce. She held on to that money for the rest of her life. Even though her husband was dying, she wouldn't get treatment for for her husband. She just held on to that money dearly. And what happened was she got older. She was miserable, holding on to the money. That money made her more and more miserable. And one day, she was murdered, and the $5,000 was stolen from her. I laugh because it's tragic, because unfortunately, that's how most people live. They hoard onto their things. And I used to be this way too. Like I was very scarce with money, and I would hold on to it. I would be afraid to spend. But I realized when you give, when there is a flow, there is an exchange, more can come into your life. When you invest, you get in, you have the potential to receive it 10 times, 100 times, multiples more, right? So if you're presented with an opportunity, and there's a great movie on this too, it's called Yes Man. The guy just says yes to everything, and it just leads him to the best experience of his life. Instead of saying no, and no to life, practice saying yes, and yes, even if it makes you uncomfortable. Say yes, even if it makes you uncomfortable, especially if you're someone who's overly logical like myself, and you have a tendency to do this. You just say no to everything. Say yes. Start by saying yes. See what happens. Trust in something you didn't trust before. And even if you fail, there's going to be something good that comes out of it. If you trust that that's exactly what's going to happen. Comfort in the unknown. And obviously there's a balance to this. Like you don't want to go out and just give away all your money. I mean, maybe you do. I don't know. So there's obviously a balance to this. How about we start to implement 20% more of it in our lives? 20% more saying yes. Instances where you would be, you kind of keep a wall between yourself and the outer world, and you kind of keep yourself at an arm's length away. Be more vulnerable. Give more of yourself. Say yes. Open yourself up. Because those who are open, they can receive. Those who are closed, never receive. So what I want you to do right now is to take these teachings further. There's a principle of reality called the mirror principle. The mirror principle states that whatever image I create in my internal world gets reflected in my external world. And it's the very thing that allowed me to go from zero to making over $1 million a year, and living the life that I want, manifesting my dream partner, and having a baby, 2 houses, all by the age of 27. If you want to access that training, it's a short movie I created, about 25, maybe 29 minutes long, with a complete guide to implement everything that I'm talking about. It's all in there. All you have to do is click right here, this end screen link, and it will take you right there, put your name and email, and you'll be able to get access to it. So I'll see you in the movie right now. Thanks.